So good, good. I think we're good. We're a good number. Currently, we have 130 participants on Google Meet, and we have 82 participants on Talk Live. I'm presuming a good number of people are actually going to be joining us as we proceed on with the session. Um, I just want to make a confirmation before we begin the session. Can you guys on Google Meet, can you hear me? On Google Meet, if you can hear me, let me give me a thumbs up. If you're on TikTok and you're watching this, give me a thumbs up if you can actually hear anything that we are actually talking about. Can you hear my sound? Yeah. For those on TikTok, if you can hear me, give me a thumbs up. Yeah. Good one. That's amazing. So our topic of discussion today is ethical hacking and cybersecurity. And I think that has been a topic of discussion for so long. How many over here? How many people over here? Let me just begin by asking this. And before, I think I have to introduce myself first. As usual, it's African and it is Kenyan. My name is Elvis. I'm a content creator. I'm a digital creator. I'm that guy who is blabbing skills left, right, and center. In fact, I think the position that you're watching this live session from is where you're going to find me creating most of my TikTok videos. How many probably follow me on TikTok? To those guys who are actually in the Google Meet session, if you follow me on TikTok, I think I'm in all social media platforms. Instagram ndio kidogo nimelemewa kupenya, but I'm hoping soon enough I'll be able to like penya Instagram. I talk about skills. I am that person who tells you learn a skill. I'm that person who tells you it is very important for you to get to learn a skill. I am that person who tells you that it's good for you to equip yourself with skills. Now, since I don't want to take much of your time, ladies and gentlemen, the session was meant to start at 7:30 p.m. It's already 6 minutes past 7:30, and I'm so glad to actually host this session today. I have a few guests, and I'm actually looking for them. So let me just introduce them to you. We'll actually be having a discussion with the same or with them regarding cybersecurity. Nancy, is Nancy here?
Yes.
Nancy, Nancy, hi.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good, very good. No, not Nancy Gadu. I'm looking for. Okay, but it's good. It's good. Uh, that was very interesting. I'm looking for Nancy Mureithi. Is Nancy Mureithi with us? Okay, Francis, I've seen you here. Francis,
Hey Elvis, how are you?
hi, Francis. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing fine. Can't
Yes,
complain.
yes.
Um, yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready.
You're ready?
Yes,
Good one, good one. I'm actually so happy to see you in this particular session today. I'm just doing a
I am happy
confirmation
as
whether
well.
guy. Good one, good one. Maybe Francis, before we actually get Nancy over here, I just want to ask a very simple question. Maybe you can actually introduce yourself so that we can proceed on. Introduce yourself very briefly before we proceed on with the session.
Awesome, awesome. Hi guys. Hi everyone. Good evening. My name is Francis Kipchumba. I am a technical instructor for cybersecurity at Moringa. My background is in computer science, so I have a bit of both software engineering and cybersecurity skills. Um, However, my passion still is in cybersecurity. It's a very interesting field, full of very, a lot of problems that needs to be solved. A lot of exciting things to do. So yeah, I'm happy today to, show you guys how you can jump into the cybersecurity field. I myself have my journey in cybersecurity has been more of a scavenger hunt, whereby I try to find things where they are, trying to learn. But I'm happy to show you guys some of the tips that are working that I've used before, and I'm excited. I'm excited.
Thank you so much. I appreciate. Asante sana. That's an amazing introduction, by the way. You need to give him a round of applause. Yeah. Francis is an instructor in Moringa School. How many guys have heard of Moringa School before? Moringa School. How many guys have heard of Moringa School? Moringa School. If you've heard of Moringa School, maybe you can actually tell us. Yeah, you can actually just give us a thumbs up if you've heard of Moringa School. Now, in the journey of skills acquisition and in the journey of people getting to understand which skills they are supposed to actually, there are several institutions that in Kenya that actually stand out, and Moringa School happens to be a leader when it comes to skill acquisition. I'm so glad to have you today, where we're going to be talking about cybersecurity and ethical hacking. So, brief question. I'm going to start with you, Francis. Huh? We wait for Nancy to join in. Huh? Francis,
Yes, Elvis.
what is the difference between ethical hacking and cybersecurity? There are guys who don't understand. Maybe someone thinks like cybersecurity is all about hacking. I think you've watched easy movies like Kina Jason Bourne. You've probably watched. This series called what's the name of this series? This guy who needs to hack into things. I'm forgetting the name. Mr. Robot.
Interesting.
Mm.
Also, personally, for me, my journey into cybersecurity, rather where I first encountered well, but back then, it wasn't cybersecurity. I remember back time early 2000, when I heard there was a student who sent malware to Egerton University. It was a virus, and that time there was still a lot of skepticism about viruses and all. So, growing up, later on, I came to see in movies. If someone remembers, there was a movie called, it was a series back around 2011. It was called Nikita.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you remember Nikita? Yeah.
Yes, I
So there
remember
was this
Nikita.
hacker, alikuwa
Yeah.
anajiita Shadow Walker.
Yes.
Used to love him. And it was during that point is when started to look into cybersecurity in depth. And there's a lot of myth about cybersecurity, ethical hacking and all. But to clarify it, ethical hacking, it's also called penetration testing. Um, is a practice of intentionally breaking into computer systems or networks, right? So you break intentionally with the owner's permission. The purpose of breaking in is to identify vulnerabilities and weaknesses, so that it can be patched or covered before other malicious actor can exploit them. Cybersecurity, on the other hand, is a broader term that encompasses a lot of things like protection, networking, unauthorized access, and disclosure. And ethical hacking is a subset of cybersecurity. So we have cybersecurity as a whole, and then inside there's a subset called ethical hacking or penetration testing. When we talk about hacking, there are different types of hacking. We have the red teamers and we have blue teamers. I know I'm going to lose some of you there, but just wait with me. So the red team are involved with, offensive. So they are the people who simulate attacking, they simulate the threat actors or the bad people. And then the blue team, on the other hand, so the cybersecurity professionals also practice to protect the organization. So we have people who are trying to attack, and the other people who are trying to also defend the systems. In between, we have ethical hackers. So ethical hacking majorly lies in between there, because what happens is you're trying to attack, but you're attacking with permissions, and at the end of the day, you have to disclose the vulnerabilities that you got before exposing it to the public, so that you give the vendor time enough to patch, and then you can release your vulnerability.
Oh, that's interesting.
Maybe just to clarify more, one of the key characteristics of ethical hackers is first you need to have authorized access, which is very, very important. You need to have explicit permissions from the owners, from the system owners, to test. Most of the time, you'll find that organization companies do offer a thing called bug bounty. I know maybe it can be a new term called bug bounty. You can check them out. So what bug bounty does is organization usually invite hackers or the public to come and test their application, software networks for vulnerabilities. If a vulnerability is found, you get rewarded, right? So you get rewarded. There's a lot of bug bounty out there by a lot of corporation. I know Safaricom is offering a bug bounty up to 250,000 worth of prize. You can check them out. Another
Francis, can you,
characteristics of an ethical hacking is vulnerability identification. So the goal of ethical is to discover vulnerabilities and weakness in the system, so that before other malicious people get access or discover. Another thing with ethical hacking is risk mitigation. So they do provide actionable recommendations on how to fix the systems once they have identified the vulnerabilities.
all right, right. Now, like I remember recently, there was a bit of an issue where something about devices that run with the operating system Microsoft, and it was known. There's this company which is known as the top cybersecurity company in the world. What's the name of that company? And yeah, when I had like airports, gee, they were not when it
CrowdStrike.
comes to yes, that one, CrowdStrike. It's when it comes to someone talking about CrowdStrike. CrowdStrike, I believe, is a cybersecurity company. I think.
Well, it's a third party vendor who they provide. I think they provide services. They
Oh,
provide services. Yes,
that's interesting.
to
I'm glad.
a lot
I'm
of businesses, airports, hospitals. Yeah.
All right, all right. Thank you for that. I'm actually glad that you've explained the difference between ethical hacking and cybersecurity. In fact, when I was interested in cybersecurity back then, I wanted to be that bad guy. I wanted to like hack into bank accounts. Like I've always had this idea that you can use what you know to actually do some bad things. So I'm glad to know that there is a difference between a red team and the blue team. The red team are those ones are the things that you can do that could probably get you in jail, but the blue
Yes.
team is actually doing the right thing. Thank you so much for that. Now, I'm still going to get you back again because I've not seen Nancy yet over here. And I believe you've just touched a little bit of this, but which are the main components of cybersecurity? In the next, like maybe 2, 3, 5 minutes, you can just give us like a brief illustration. Very simple, very, very simple. The components of cybersecurity.
Okay. If there's a field that is very broad, is
Mhm,
cybersecurity, because
mhm.
when you talk about cybersecurity, it really encompasses every digital device or platform around, that you can use. Anything that is digital, can be used. So majorly the major components of cybersecurity, first is just understanding the basic, the threats, vulnerabilities, um, threat actors, and all. Once you understand that, another is networking. You really also need to have a better understanding of how networking components work. Uh, you also need to understand how operating system work. That is Linux, Windows, Macs. Um, what else? You
Ubuntu
know,
is
applications. Um, it's a lot. It's a lot. But yeah,
all right.
those are the major ones. Um, what else? Let me see. Uh, Yeah, networks, cryptography. Yes, cryptography is
Mhm.
also a very important aspect. Um, application security, there's incident response, risk management, governance and risks. Yeah.
Mhm. Okay, that's quite a good description of the key components of cybersecurity. Now, Francis, I will take you back a little bit. Are you ready for this question? Yeah, I think this is one of those questions that I actually get asked a lot. Programming languages. We have so many programming languages, and I'm actually glad that you've mentioned that you're a software engineer, right? Or a software
Yes, yes,
developer,
yes,
let me
yes.
say. And someone wants to get started with cybersecurity. Yeah. And I think right now we have like a wholesome of programming languages in the world today. And someone wants to get started in cybersecurity. And especially, let's say, ethical hacking. Which are the main languages that you think someone should actually concentrate on when it comes to you getting to understand cybersecurity?
So when you talk about programming languages and cybersecurity,
Mhm.
something to note is, well, having the programming knowledge, will really boost you, or take you to the next level in terms of ethical hacking, because it will allow you to maybe create, modify, automate tasks, analyze system, once you have that background knowledge. And sometimes people might think that it is a strict requirement. It is
Mhm.
not a strict requirement. It is good if you have it, but it is not really a strict requirement. um why it is not really a strict requirement is because you'll note that there's a lot of tools out there for cybersecurity that has already been implemented by other security professionals, which are available and open source and can be used by anyone. So you
Mhm.
just have to, learn how to use those tools. Um, However, that being said, still having a programming knowledge is very crucial. Um, the importance of programming in ethical hacking, um, one is tool development. You can be able to develop your own tools, written in languages that you are comfortable with. The most common languages for writing tools is Python, C, and Java. Most of the tools really revolve around those languages. Having programming knowledge allows you to start scripting. Scripting more is more like an automation of tasks. Because if you once you start understanding and learning cybersecurity, you'll note that there are some things that are usually repetitive. Because once you've done maybe penetration testing in one organization, most likely, you'll be using the same techniques, especially the first few techniques, in another organization. So with time, you find that they start becoming repetitive, and you can having a programming knowledge can allow you to create your own scripts that will automate such tasks. Um, Also, another advantages of having a programming knowledge is on exploit development. So once you understand how programming works, you can be able to develop your own exploits. Exploits are pieces of code which take advantage of a vulnerability in software. So, for example, an exploit could be something like an SQL injection, which takes advantage of the ability for SQL to not look for sanitize the input. Also, programming knowledge will give you an understanding of programming concepts, and also do system analysis, where you can be able to identify and distinguish, internal things like memory, memory management, file systems, network protocols. And once you have such things in mind, it's very easy to come up with an exploit, or you know, just have a knowledge or a bigger picture of how the system is.
Okay.
The best languages, in my opinion, are Python, because Python is a popular language. It is flexible, it is easy to use. Um, C is also good. C, C++, Java, they are also very good. They are all languages which, because older platforms, which really are the backbone of the internet, were created using such languages. So also having that knowledge will allow you to be able to identify, patch, and mitigate some of the vulnerabilities that might arise in those old legacy code base. Code base like Linux and Windows, those were built using C and Java.
All
Also,
right.
JavaScript is also a good language. PowerShell as well for Bash.
Oh, okay. Now,
Yes.
since you actually did mention JavaScript, majorly, I think as developers, we are so used to using JavaScript. I never knew that it was actually a versatile language when it comes to cybersecurity.
It is very versatile.
Oh,
Because
okay.
with JavaScript, it gives you the ability to do scripting on the web.
Mhm. Mhm.
It also can still do compilation using Node, so it
Mhm.
will still give you the internals. And especially JavaScript is important or good to understand, because most of the time you'll find that we spend a lot of time on the browser, and
Mhm.
browsers are usually JavaScript enabled. So if you have that knowledge, you can be able to manipulate a lot of things on the browser, which
All
a
right.
lot of and majority of people are using.
Okay, that's quite interesting to learn. Good thing for me is that I've been able to learn a few things like tool development, scripting, or automation of tasks, penetration testing. That's something I've really, I think mostly in Kenya, when it comes to cybersecurity, we all think about hacking Wi-Fi, hacking bank accounts. I think you'll even find people asking questions like, I want to know how I can actually hack my girlfriend's phone. I think it's something common especially in Kenya, and
I
I'm
have
so
found
glad
those questions kila
you've seen
wakati.
those questions. Yeah. Let me tell you honestly. By the way, Francis, let me honestly tell you, I get DMs every day. Some insecure guy or an insecure girlfriend is going to come and tell me to develop for them something that they can use to track the whereabouts of the boyfriend. And I'm like, okay, how am I supposed to do that? I'm so used to creating I'm so used to creating websites, but I'm actually glad to see something like scripting. I'm also very happy to see something like tool development, where you've mentioned something about Python, C, and Java being the best programming languages that you can actually learn. Honestly, let me tell you one thing: JavaScript has been a bother for me, but it's not really easy, and I'm so happy to hear that it can still be used in cybersecurity, because when I grasp it so well, when I grasp it, right now most of the thing we
Mhm.
are doing is we are telling ChatGPT, do this for me, help me with this. Thank you so much for that. Now,
Yeah.
I'll take you to the next question if you don't mind, Francis. And the question I'm going to be asking is this: um, which are the steps that someone should actually take to actually become a cybersecurity expert? Which are the steps that they should take?
Um, that's a really good question.
Mhm.
And I understand, because I've been in that position before. And I can tell you, for the person who's starting to learn cybersecurity from scratch, it is very overwhelming, because you go read, you need to know a lot of things, a lot of concepts. And up to now, I still feel it is something that I also still struggle with, because I find some courses, webinars that I feel I need to know, but touching on something extends. You find that there's also the other side as well of it. However, do not despair if you're in that position. like I was, because by using these steps, it will really narrow down your perspective, and you'll have at least a path that you can use to learn cybersecurity. What I advise people when trying to learn cybersecurity is, first, you need to understand the basics. So understanding the basics, the core concepts of protecting systems, networks, um, the different types of common threats available, um, things like malware, phishing, ransomware, how do they work? How are they propagated? What are some of the things that enable them? Um, there's also another principle, fundamental, called the CIA triad. The CIA talks about confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So
Oh,
these framework,
it's not CIA, the one oh, you
yeah,
said.
CEO.
Oh, aya, mi nimefikiria ni hii ya US yenye tunaonanga blacklist. Umesema confidentiality?
Yes, so the
Confidentiality.
CIA stands for confidentiality.
Uh-huh.
Confidentiality, what most people think about, where someone should not be able to see something that doesn't belong to them. So only the person intended to see the message should be able to see the message. Elvis, you won't want a situation where you are sending someone an email, and then you go and find that Pale TikTok someone, all your details are out there. So that's on confidentiality. There is integrity. Integrity stands for the I.
Mhm.
Integrity ensures that the message you sent is the actual message, and it was not altered or changed in any way,
Mhm.
right? And then we
That's
have that's integrity.
yes.
And then we have the availability. Availability is the
Just a moment. Just a moment. Let me mute someone. Someone over here is causing a bit of some problem. Collins, kindly mute your microphone, please. Okay. Uh, Francis, we
right.
lost you.
So I was talking about the A in the CIA. The A
Mhm.
stands for availability. So all the
Mhm.
systems, it won't really make sense, to have all these digital platform and not be available when we want to use them.
Mhm.
So cybersecurity is usually revolves around those three uh, things: the confidentiality, integrity, and availability. It's called the CIA triad.
Mhm.
Once you start reading more on them, you'll get to understand more in depth and how cybersecurity ties with those principles. So once you understand the basic, you can move on to now start building your foundation, a very strong foundation. Talk about networking, talk about, and if there's a very broad network or field, is networking. Networking is a monstrosity on its own, but it shouldn't really uh, put fear in you, because if people have learned, you can also learn. The trick is to go step by step, basic step by step. So under networking, you need to understand the protocols, things like the TCP/IP, subnetting, routing, which the more you go in, the more it becomes big. Operating systems, as I talked about, understanding the fundamentals of Windows, Linux, Macs, um, you know, learning a programming language. But the essence is to just build now your foundation, a very strong foundation.
Oh, right.
Yeah, after you can go to choosing a specialization, because
Mhm.
as I mentioned, there's a lot of specialization in cybersecurity. Um, Once you have a specialized path you can choose, then you can go to the practical and continuous learning. So, doing online courses, doing things like capture the flag, labs and simulations, doing certification and boot camps. Like Computer Security Plus is a very good certification. There's also a new certification that they're offering called by ISC2, called Certified in Cybersecurity. It is free for those who are interested. Kindly check them out. And last thing is to network. Ensure that visit online communities, join cybersecurity forums, attend conferences, and one of the most underrated things that I feel gets really undermined is developing your soft skills. Soft skills are very important because knowing how to communicate effectively to convey technical information, which is most of the thing, which is mostly what you'll be doing under cybersecurity, learning teamwork and problem solving.
Right. Thank you so much for that. I actually like the aspect that you have mentioned. I think we can give Francis a round of applause. That's quite good. Yeah. Yeah, and for those maybe who are worried whether there's going to be a recorded version of this particular session, yes, we are recording the session. So immediately after the session, by tomorrow, there's going to be availability of the same session for you to actually go through and sift through. I like the fact that you've mentioned the soft skills because I tend to believe that most people concentrate on the hard skills. You meet a very good person who is actually someone is good in development, is good in
Mhm.
cybersecurity, but when you tell them to speak in front of a crowd or even speak to a client, their hands start sweating and all of a sudden they're taking off their spectacles. Shinda wakifanya hivi, they're like, okay. So I think communication skills, critical thinking, and you've also mentioned a very important aspect of networking. Yeah, you cannot wait in your house as a cybersecurity expert. You cannot wait in your house for people to actually come and give you jobs. So I think it's really important for you to also get to develop networking. Now, Francis, on to the next part. Artificial intelligence. I think you're familiar with that, right?
Yeah, we all are. We all are for the
Yeah.
last 2 years. Hey, it has been a household name.
And I think you need to tell people that artificial intelligence is not chat GPT. Because most people think that artificial intelligence or AI is chat GPT. It is not chat GPT. Yeah. Someone wanted to know how to use chat GPT because they want to learn AI. And I was like, wait a minute. You think chat GPT. So I think I'm going to pose this question to you. Huh? Like
Mhm.
someone wants, I've seen guys who are actually very interested in artificial intelligence and quote unquote, some of them also want to learn machine learning because I think AI and machine learning are a very good pair or a combination. But over and above, let's just break it down. Someone wants to pursue artificial intelligence and cybersecurity. Can these two particular skills be pursued together?
That's an absolute yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, artificial intelligence and
Mm-hmm.
cybersecurity. Um, so, this is the conversion or the convergence of cybersecurity and AI is not just possible, but it is imperative,
Mm-hmm.
especially where we are going as a civilization. It becomes very imperative. You'll find that a lot of data is being generated. A lot of vulnerabilities are out there. Cybersecurity professionals need to, sift through a lot of logs and all. So AI and cybersecurity really do work together. And one of the combination of why AI and cybersecurity work is you'll note that the AI will really work to enhance threat detection. So AI can really analyze a vast amount of data in a very short time, therefore identifying patterns, identifying anomalies that the human mind could, do it in a short time, or it would have taken a very long time. Something else are automated response. Since a lot of, with the emerging cybersecurity trends, there's a lot of, what are they called? Uh, Events, they're not really threat events, but events that have happened in the network. And most of the time, as a security professional, it is your work to determine if the intrusion is legit or by a threat actor. And having AI can be able to really automate that response because it is able to analyze, check out some of the signatures and all. Also, AI will be good to analyze in analytics, predictive analytics. So that is by analyzing past attack patterns, it is able to identify and predict newer threats, right? Therefore, allowing organization to be proactive in their defenses. Efficiency, of course, I can't really talk about how AI has increased efficiency in almost everything. So efficiency is part of it as well. Yeah, and also awareness, right?
All right.
AI can give you a lot of awareness
Mhm.
in some of the fields that you won't have known about.
Okay. I think that's a good understanding of at least someone can actually inculcate or you can learn AI and machine and sorry, AI and cybersecurity together. Now,
Yes.
Francis,
Just to also add on it,
yes,
Elvis
yes.
Kiasi,
Mhm.
whereby AI and cyber security usually intersect, and there's a field called threat intelligence, which is also a specialization on its own. Uh, Incident response, that is the process of identifying an incident and responding if there's anything that has happened, and also vulnerability management, because it can easily prioritize a vulnerability based on the risks and critical issues, and also having it in a SOC center will really help to analyze the logs and be able to identify and automate some of the tasks and insights.
Okay, that's quite amazing, Asante. That's a very at least thank you for putting that out very clearly. Now I want to bring you back, Kidogo, to Kenya, to our Kenyan situation,
Mhm.
because this is something that we find a lot. I don't know if you've ever heard someone saying that my WhatsApp has been hacked. In fact, today, a friend of mine, I saw someone send me a message, and I look at the profile picture. It's my friend, but immediately after like 2 minutes, the friend tells me that they need a loan of 3,000 urgently, and I can send to this and this account. Again, I think you've actually heard of people mentioned that their Facebook pages have been hacked. I don't know if you've heard of that particular situation. I just want to know if you've heard of it, yeah?
Yes, yes, yes. I have a lot of people that I know personally who
Mhm.
have been victims.
How do you think people can actually protect themselves from that?
Um, you know, um currently,
Mhm.
social media is a very let me say a wild place because there isn't a lot of government or protection and stuff. So
Mhm.
it feels like a marketplace, everyone for them, you know. And with especially the technology, you can uh, reach anyone at any time. And one of the so those techniques are called phishing,
Mhm.
whereby they try to trick you into sending things or maybe disclosing information. Yeah, they fall under the social engineering techniques, whereby they try to trick you using your human nature. Human nature is, at the end of the day, we are still all humans. In such cases, the best approach will be education. All
Mhm.
right. Why education? Because once you understand there are threats that act in such a particular manner, because a lot of people think, hacking will will mainly be in the bank or the machine, but it happens anywhere so long as you have internet connection, you have a gadget, a device, which also is something that people need to take to be aware of. um, the IoT world is really growing, and the IoT really also increases the surface area attack. But I'm digressing. Let me go back to my point. So for such cases, education awareness is the best approach, because once people are educated and are able to identify and see some of these threats, what do they need to do once they see it? How can they protect themselves against it? Um, how can they minimize such things? And the good thing is that these messages usually have a format, right? So
Mhm.
either they are going to use their authority, they are going to use either it was authority and either intimidate someone, being familiar with friends. There's the hard mentality whereby someone if someone is doing this, then it means it's okay. And they usually follow these formats, and you can be able to identify them way ahead of time, before you take even any action. Nowadays, it is becoming very, very difficult to distinguish some of these messages because AI has come along, and boy, oh boy, they really put out a very convincing messages that can fool anyone. Um, and that's really difficult to before. Previously, people used to rely on things like typos, things like grammatical mistakes. AI has now come and totally overhauled those mechanisms. So you get a very good crafted messages that you can't really be able to tell apart if it is legit or not legit. So
Mhm.
you still have to do some due diligence and all. If you need to confirm from your friend, if you need to give them a call, you know, just doing an extra step, an extra verification step.
Mhm. All right, all right. Thank you so much. At least watu wajue how to protect themselves, because it's all right. Nancy is here with us today, so I think people need to also really get to understand that, because I've always found these situation, and the funny thing is, you find that it is young people who are actually losing these accounts. Like you find
Mhm.
that. Some old mzee who probably has like a 65, who's probably like 50 or 60, you're never going to hear their account has been hacked. Yeah, it is always someone like the cases I've dealt with, they're not even mostly by old people or an elder generation. It's mostly young people, or people saying my Facebook account is don't know what. But anyway, good to hear. Anyway, Nancy Morethi, hi. Nancy, I don't know if Nancy can actually hear me.
Yes. Hi, Elvis.
Hi Nancy, how are you doing today?
I'm good. Sorry
Yes.
for the hold up.
Mhm.
I was trying to close up a few things on my end.
All right.
Yeah, I hope I can still catch up.
Yes, you can. You can. I'm actually glad you're here. I'd like maybe for you to actually introduce yourself to the audience.
Okay.
Yes.
Um, hi everyone. Sorry for joining a bit late. My name is Nancy Morithi. I work. Sorry, I think I'm muted. I was saying my name is Nancy Morithi. I work as a lead security engineer at Platcorp Group.
Mhm.
Aside that, I'm the operations lead at SheHacks, and also do security consultancy on the side and bounties as well. So I hope that's sufficient. I hope I haven't left anything behind.
That is good enough. Well, see, most guys in tech, they don't have a lot of introductions. If you are someone who is like the CEO of a company that probably sells airtime, I think we would have taken 10 minutes to listen to your description. That is very good. At least direct and to the point. Yeah. My name is Alvis. I'm a procurement officer. You can also call me a logistics manager. Apart from that, I'm in charge of inventory, and I'm so thankful to be here. I'm also the CEO of these. Those descriptions are so many, and I like that Nancy has actually gone direct to the point. Nancy, I'm going to pose a question to you. And I think because you're actually the person who is in cybersecurity, and I believe we've had a session before, which are the benefits of actually learning cybersecurity or basically pursuing cybersecurity as a career?
Okay. First, let me confirm the rumor. Hackers will love hoodies, so I'm actually in one. Only that I don't have my camera on.
Yes.
Yeah, so of course there's so many perks to learning security. And the reason why security will always be a needed field is because every day there are new technologies, and with new technologies comes new vulnerabilities. So the perks to learning security, where do I start from? It's security will be embedded everywhere. A while back, like when I talk about a while back, like long time ago, security wasn't a concern for everyone in an organization. Yeah. So even in organizations, how security used to work was it was part of the process, but just as a last minute thought. And no one would, it wasn't a concern for anyone. If I'm an accountant in a company, why would I need to understand security concepts? Boardrooms, the questions were, okay, so security is just part of the policies, part of the phases, part of the steps that we need to push our products. But then threats evolved. Security became a concern. So security moved from technical rooms to boardrooms. And we have CEOs, people who are not technical at all, having that question. Someone who has never opened a terminal, asking that question, like, are we safe? Yeah, are we at the risk of losing our money? So the reason I'm bringing that scenario is just to give you the broad idea as to why cybersecurity is needed. And it is incorporated in all the fields. Yeah, when you talk about cloud, back then, I think even the participants can highlight in the chat. Sorry, I'm a little out of breath.
No worries.
I'm
Just breathe, relax.
Yeah, so yeah. I've just been so anyway, let me just get back to what I was saying. So it's incorporated everywhere. Back then, I think even the participants can highlight in the chat, we used to store our data, yeah, in flash disks, in CDs, DVDs, yeah. So cloud came. And so right now, I'm sure most people have things on their iCloud, their Google Photos. So when the cloud concept came in, companies just wanted to move to the cloud. Yeah. Oh, I'm going to save. I don't need physical servers. I can save everything online. Yeah, definitely. That's something we want to try. But then what did this lead to? Yeah. What did this lead to? Because over time, we started having threats in the cloud. So actually, if you're here and using the cloud is not 100% secure. Actually, in security, we say anything can be hacked into. Nothing is 100% foolproof. And we also say it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. It's eventually going to happen. So cloud security became a field in itself. Right now, there are hot discussions around AI. AI itself has its own vulnerabilities. We have discussions around blockchain, which is a field I'm currently doing projects around. We have vulnerabilities around that. So definitely, if you have that question, if you should do security, yeah, please do. It's a field that's incorporated everywhere.
All right, that's amazing. At least thank you for putting that out. But first of all, imenishtua kidogo because I remember I don't know how many people have flash discs. Yeah, these flash discs zenye tulikuwa tunawekewa movie kitambo. How many people have those flash discs? The ones you used to go to a movie shop and then you give it to them, say a movie akuweke, yeah? And then fortunately or unfortunately, akikuwekea hiyo hard disk and akuwekea movie, so you've probably planned that you're going to be watching Blacklist. Hiyo usiku, you're going to be enjoying Blacklist. Then when you go and plug it in into your laptop, all of a sudden there is nothing. Yeah, there is no, you're wondering, what is this? You call the guy and he tells you, we nilikuwekea wewe. Yeah. I don't know how many people actually got to experience that, but it's quite interesting to hear that it's a normal phenomena even in the cloud. You know, the way for me, I've been trying to avoid this. I've been trying to avoid these hard disks. So I transferred everything I do to the cloud. So I have my everything stored in Google Drive, every AWS, kila mahali. But anyway, it's good that you've actually mentioned to people that cybersecurity is one of those fields that is actually necessary when it comes to protecting systems. And thank you so much for that. Now, Nancy, I don't want to take much of your time. It's already 8:25 p.m. and we need to actually be winding up. I just want you to tell me which are the most common vulnerabilities that organizations actually overlook and how can actually ethical hacking address them? Like the common vulnerabilities, you know, you're the expert in this.
Sorry, Elvis, I need you to ask me that question again so that I know in what scope I can answer that kindly.
The question I'm asking is which are the most common vulnerabilities that organizations overlook? Now, I don't know which sector I'm actually going to refer to, but you being in the field, I think you tend to deal with majority of vulnerabilities. And I'd just like you to maybe highlight maybe one or two and probably mention how ethical hacking or even cybersecurity can be used as a solution for the same.
Okay. You mentioned organizations, so that's the
Yes.
bit I wanted to hear.
Yes.
Funny enough, the most critical hacks we see happen from the smallest things. Yeah. So there are so many threats. I think we can't cover that enough. But I'll just mention a few. One, the human factor, which is the people. Yeah. The earlier example that I gave where cybersecurity was not a concern for people, but right now, even if you're an accountant in an organization, you need to understand basic cybersecurity concepts because, and please don't quote me, if I decided as a hacker to hack an organization, yeah, I don't need to hack everyone in that organization. I just need one person so that I can have access to that entire network, have access to that entire resources. And sometimes it's very severe that as a hacker, you can have access to a network or a system for months or even years, and they're not able to detect. Yeah.
What?
Yes, it's that bad.
So someone has probably been watching me doing some. Okay, go ahead.
Yes. I think maybe next time. I know we're out of time, and maybe I joined a bit late. But next time we can do a demo. We'll just have someone volunteer.
Then you hack them.
With the sacrificial lamb. Yes, we just hack them, hack their email, try pull all their data that is online, whether deleted or available, to show you how much the internet doesn't forget.
Wait, Nancy. This is from one person. Like you're using one person as
yes,
the sacrificial lamb for you to get data about an organization.
Yes, I can decide. For example, if I want to, let me pick someone random. If I want to have access to an organization, yeah, and I decide, let me look for. Let me pick anyone. I promise when I mention your name, when I mention your name, I won't hack you. Please don't notice your phone drain in charge and then you're like, I have to look for this Nancy who hacked me. No. Let's say Christabel. Yeah. So I decide Christabel is the one I want to have access to. She works, she has a very important role in an organization. So what I'll do, there's something we call spear phishing, where you don't just hack everyone, you target a specific person. I can decide to pull all her social media pages, what she posts, where does she regularly go. And I don't have to go to Instagram and Facebook. I can write a script for that to pull all that data for me. I know this is where she goes, and she loves going to Java mostly at 8 on Sundays. So I know that's a pattern. Yeah, I can decide to pull family data. She has this brother, she has this, maybe she's even posted them online. I can decide to fake myself as them. Yeah. So there's so many ways. I mean, it's something I cannot even exhaust, but so that I don't digress so much. The human factor is one that is very overlooked. Also, we have issue. There's a vulnerability called privilege access, least privilege access. So this is whereby people have access to things that they don't necessarily need, have access to resources that they don't necessarily need. For example, if you're working as maybe a cleaner in an organization, yeah, and then maybe I give you resources that a manager should have. In security, we say if you have access to resources that you don't need, you're going to abuse them. So that's a vulnerability. We see that happen, and that has happened even in companies that I've worked in before, yeah, where configurations are not set right. Maybe even someone left the company, they still have access to these systems or the network. So a lot goes to what we call vulnerabilities. Yeah. So I don't know. I think I'll just cover those for now so that I don't digress so much.
Yeah.
But honestly, there's so much. I think I don't want to scare people. But after these guys, I can see there's a lot of guys online. Guys who like asking for pictures. A lady can decide to put a malware in a picture or a video.
What do you mean?
It's scary. Yeah. I send you a JPEG, an image of myself or whatever image you want, but it's encoded.
There's a
And
malware. There's malware.
It's a malware, yeah, that runs on the background, and you won't tell, but I'll have access. Yeah, so the possibilities are just so many for me to but those ones are the most we see. And of course, when people talk about phishing, phishing is a term thrown around so much. Yeah, I know maybe someone expected for me to say a DDoS. DDoS, like what we saw with eCitizen, I think a few months ago, DDoS necessarily don't involve you losing data. You just don't have access to the system. Yeah. But where money is involved, data is involved. And also just a disclaimer, security is fancy and all. Very beautiful to have these skills, but just be ethical, please. The data protection office is on your neck, and the cybersecurity laws are very, very strict. Yeah.
Well, okay. I think we need to give Nancy a round of applause. At least nimejua kitu leo. You people who are used to asking for some interesting photos that show some interesting parts of the body, you need to be aware that one day the internet does not forget. We will come and review those photos that you've been asking for. Again, your hacker girlfriend might send you malware, na wewe na ofisi yako ufungue kidogo kidogo, your bank account is emptied. I'm not trying to give you to stir you, but I'm just trying to just give you an idea or a hint of what Nancy has said. Now, I think I'm just going to bring this into maybe as we wind up with Nancy. Nancy, I'm going to ask you. I actually like the fact that you've mentioned that you're talking about getting into blockchain, and I think blockchain and cybersecurity are two things that actually work in tandem. And I think this one is something evolving that comes in when someone is learning cybersecurity. Maybe in the next 2 minutes, maybe you can actually give us some of these particular advancements, especially blockchain in correlation with cybersecurity, like someone might become a cybersecurity specialist or expert, and over time they want to learn something like blockchain. So, what do you think about all that? Maybe just Kickstarter as we just wind up. Well, as we wind up.
I can see Gabriel doesn't want this session to end.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, I think Elvis, we have to plan for another session. I promise that
Of
one
course,
I'll join earlier
of
and we'll
course.
do a demo.
Mhm.
I'm yet to see who will build the sacrificial lamb. But anyway, back to
Gabriel will be.
Gabriel.
Yes.
Okay, so I think to answer your question about blockchain, allow me to just widen that a bit, because I get the same question around how do I get to cloud security? How do I get to web security? My first advice is always first understand the concepts of the specific field. Yeah. The reason I'm saying that is because, for example, for you to attack a network, you must understand how a network works. For you to attack a web application, you must understand how a web application works. And when I say attack, let me just put this out there. In security, we have like three main people in security, three types of people. So we have the people who defend for people from being attacked. We call them blue teamers. Yeah. These are the people who you see in movies. They have like huge screens and they're monitoring logs and all that. These are the blue teamers. So they just monitor to check what is coming in, what is coming out. How can we keep safe? How do we prevent the attackers from coming into the network? Then we have red teamers, what I do. So red teamers, if you have a thrill for breaking into things, this is your thing. So red teamers hack to find vulnerabilities in systems. So you have to think like the bad guy. How would the bad guy hack this system, this application, this network, then find fixes from that. Then we have the purple team. So these are people who just do a bit of both in an organization. So back to your question, for blockchain, I would suggest you first understand the concepts of blockchain, what it entails, because some people think blockchain is just crypto. Yeah. But it is so much more to what blockchain entails. And it's once you understand the workings of blockchain, you would understand how to do the security bit of it. Yeah. I think you had also asked about the maybe I don't know if I got that question, but I don't know if the question. Oh, sorry. I don't know if the question was around the roles or something. I don't know if I got that.
The roles of.
I digressed.
I had actually asked on the current developments that we have when it comes to careers in cybersecurity. You see, you mentioned something like blockchain. Eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe what are some of the current, or even let's call it future trends in cybersecurity?
Like the future
The future trends.
like the future careers in security.
No, future trends like developments that we expect in cybersecurity.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So moving forward, I think there's so much to expect, especially around blockchain and AI, because these are still fields that are still growing day by day. Yeah. And especially, like I mentioned earlier on when I was starting, the beauty of how security is incorporated into all these fields. Because if you look at, I don't want to get into the integrities, but if you look at things like blockchain, yeah, people think blockchain is fully secure, yeah, but they have issues. There are vulnerabilities around blockchain, things like smart contract. We have bill attacks. We have all these things, yeah. So, what we expect moving forward, as technology grows, honestly, first our threat landscape grows immensely because hackers are not just sitting and folding their hands and watching these things just come about. No, the more technology grows, the more they want to upskill their penetration testing or the penetration hacking ways. Yeah, and the more us as the ethical hackers have to put in the work to ensure that we are up to standard and up to skill to match what the hackers are bringing to the table. So that means if you're getting to security, please make peace with the fact that you'll always be learning. You'll always be learning something new. What you know last year might not be very new and trendy now. You have to be always learning. Yeah.
All right, all right. Thank you for that. So continuous education is very, very important. I think we need to give Nancy a round of applause for that explanation that she's given when it comes to developments in cybersecurity in general. And I think up to that point, how many people have actually learned something? How many people have actually learned something? Someone is telling us for you, Nancy, to leave a link on your LinkedIn profile. Now, before we proceed on, I want to bring someone in just a little bit for like just a few minutes. Sasha, is Sasha here with us? Sasha, I had seen Sasha over here. Sasha, can you hear me? Okay. Am I the only one? Am I the only one who's not hearing Sasha? Francis, are you here? Can you hear Sasha?
No, I can't.
Okay. I don't know if Sasha is, but I think I don't know if before she actually joins up again. Francis,
Yes, Elvis.
I think because you're an instructor in Moringa School, I want you to give us a little bit, like you give us a spice of what it
Mic
means to
check.
take
Can you
this.
hear me now?
Ah, yes, Sasha, thank you for coming back. Thank you so much. So, Sasha, hi.
Hi. I'm so sorry. My audio has issues, but I hope everyone can hear me clearly now.
Yes, yes,
All
we
right.
can hear
So,
you. Hi, Sasha.
hi.
Maybe you can introduce yourself to the audience.
Okay, I can't even see if my video is on, and so I
No
hope
worries.
okay. I hope the lighting is okay.
Let me see. I think let me just. I'm not able to see your video, but
Okay, there it is now.
okay, it's good. We cannot see you. I don't know. Uh, but maybe Sasha, you can still proceed on. Maybe video
Okay.
tutasort baadaye.
Okay.
Maybe you can introduce yourself and talk to us about the cybersecurity prep course that Moringa School has.
All right. So as you heard, my name is Sasha Acheng. I'm a product marketing manager at Moringa School, and I'm very excited for the conversation that we've had here today. So it's been amazing partnering with you, Elvis, and your vibrant community. And also really want to appreciate Nancy and Francis for contributing to today's topic around, just sensitizing people on how they can get started in cybersecurity, ethical hacking. Um, yeah. So thank you so much for giving us this opportunity and this platform. So like I said, my work at Moringa School is a product marketing manager, and I've seen the questions that you guys are posing on the chat box and even on the TikTok live. We are actually live on TikTok. So hi everyone on TikTok. This is my first time. So given all the questions that people are asking, where can I learn all these skills? Can we form a group? How can I get to the level that Francis is at? and Nancy. I know you guys want to connect with them after this, but a good way to start is join a community of learners, right? And we do offer that at Moringa School, right? So we have a cybersecurity introductory course and other certification bootcamps that we offer with CompTIA. And this is a good place, a good starting point for anyone who's curious about this industry. Nancy has pointed out the challenges and vulnerabilities that are facing organizations right now, and even you, just as an individual. Data protection, data policies or rather data security policies are a huge thing, a huge conversation that we're having right now, other than the trending AI and hacking and all that. And you see, once you get this fundamental knowledge, you're able to grow and upskill. She's also mentioned the importance of upskilling, right? You're continuously learning new things, new vulnerabilities are coming up. And I'm just highlighting these areas that Nancy and Francis have touched on because we offer these skills training in our cybersecurity prep course. All right. You will get to learn from scratch. You don't have to have any background knowledge in cybersecurity. If you are, curious about it, you already have like a background in IT, or you don't, you just want to sensitize yourself, let's say now on the policies or like just the basic of how cybersecurity works, um, then the cybersecurity prep course is ideal for you. If now you want to get into different roles, I'm very, very interested to hear from Nancy around like, her journey to becoming a lead cybersecurity engineer for the organization that she works for. But I know she will tell you that upskilling and getting the right certifications is very key for you to climb up the career ladder in the cyber world. So all that is also available at Moringa School. Yeah. So I know Elvis has been talking to you guys, and he has a very close knit community. He'll be sharing more information around like, okay, so these programs, how can I get access to them? When do we have intakes? We currently have an intake in August. We have more intakes in October as well. For those maybe who want to join later, you can just go through our information. Some of my colleagues will be sharing that on the chat box shortly. And even after this, we'll send you more details around the program. You can review that and make a decision on like, okay, so now I'm ready to sign up to Moringa. And you can join us, right? We're also going to leave our contact details on the chat box. So you can reach out to us and we'll be happy to assist you. I can see Michael is saying that too bad for us in 9 to 5. On the contrary, Nancy's talked about upskilling, and who is upskilling? It's the people who are, in a role, in a business, you're an entrepreneur, you're maybe in school pursuing your master's or your degree. It doesn't matter. We do have evening classes, all right? We have part-time classes that are online, so you can join them from wherever you are. You don't have to be in Nairobi. They run from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. weekdays. East African time. So even if you're not in Kenya, maybe you're joining this live and you're not in Kenya, as long as you're able to join us from wherever you are, according to the time zones we've provided, you can still join our programs and learn from wherever you are. So we do offer these classes for people who are working, people who are committed in other programs. You can learn them part-time and it's just an 8-week course. So in 2 months, you get yourself from point 0 to point 10. Let me just say 0 to 10 or 0 to 100, whichever language people use now. Yeah, so I think I've tried to be brief. Elvis will share more details around the programs with you guys after this. So thank you so much. Back to you, Elvis.
Well, thank you so much, Sasha. Maybe a round of applause to her. Thank you for that. I'll actually be sharing more details on the same. So I do appreciate. And you see, for me, I talk about skills most of the time, no? And I think I'm that kind of guy. Probably you've met me or probably seen me on social media, really sensitized on the importance of skills. I'm actually so happy to. We've had several sessions before with Nancy, and I'm hoping that next time we will have another session where she's actually going to demonstrate it for us. So we agreed that Gabriel is going to be the sacrificial lamb. So we want to see his phone hacked. We want to see everyone do all that. And I'm so happy to actually have this particular session. I'm only going to be taking two questions. I'm going to take the first question from Don Roam. Don Roam, maybe you can actually go ahead and ask your question. Go ahead and ask your question in just a few minutes.
Hello, Elvis.
Yes, Don Roam.
I've been telling myself that one time I'm looking into getting into this tech world.
Mm-hmm.
And my question goes to Francis and is it Nancy?
Yes.
Is phone farming part of the cyber security, or
Phone
is
fa-
phone farming?
Phone farming, yeah, I think is a Chinese thing, yeah, likes, yeah. Or
Yeah, I would like to be a phone farmer when I
my
grow up.
friend,
Yes.
people are being arrested for that, and you want to do it.
Is it ethical or unethical hacking? Like,
anyone, I don't know who's going to respond to that.
because it interests me. Yeah.
Very interesting, Don. However, for farming that is generating views or contents, legitimately.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that from farming is really influencing is, can be used to do a lot of what are they called? Spreading misinformation, propaganda, because people have that tendency of herd mentality. If I have seen something, then that means it must be a good thing. And with fun farming, it's more similar, the same. Because trust me, most of the time you go to YouTube or any social media, the first thing you might look at likes, the retweets and things like those metrics, so that you can gauge if you're going to engage with or not. So from farming is a way of tricking people, into believing that a content is, worth the way it is. It is not legal per se. So you still have a lot of maybe look for something else.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
Look for something else. I like that. Look for something else.
Okay. Thank you.
Asante. I think I'll take the final question from. Is it Carl Lugusa? Carl Lugusa, ask your question.
Hello.
Yes, Carl.
I have a question. I wanted to ask, when you're learning security, I've tried to learn Linux, and I usually watch Network Attack on YouTube. And when I try to what Network Attack does, in but what Network Attack does not work. Actually, the problem. That is my question.
I've not heard you well. What's the last part you say? Network check?
So there is this guy in YouTube, anaitwa Network Chuck.
Yeah, actually. The beard
teaches
guy.
about cyber security. Yeah, the beard guy. So, and for example, anaweza kufunza maybe Wireshark and those using the Linux tools, but when you try to do it on the computer, it does not work. Inaleta errors, unaambiwa error. Maybe the computer cannot process that command. What is usually the problem? That is my question.
No, I don't know who's going to respond to that. Is it Nancy or is it Francis?
I think I have a thought around that. It's Carl, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
Carl.
Yes.
So yes, Carl, I think you had also asked about the best OS to use. First, the OS fight never ends, regardless of how long you've been in the field. Myself, I have both of them because I can never decide which one I want. Do I want Kali? Do I want Parrot? So I just have everything, and just pick and choose, depending on what I want to do. So for your specific question, I think you're having trouble with, is it the installation or something? Or
No. When you're writing the
uh,
commands, when you're using terminal to write the
okay,
commands,
uh-huh,
maybe you're writing
okay,
a tool, and
okay,
when you check in the Google tutorials, in the YouTube tutorials, you copy paste the same command, but it does not work when you try it on your computer. That is my question. Why?
okay. Carl, I think I'll say this with a lot of love. Let that be a learning experience. And okay, you know the reason I'm saying that, is because once in this process, as you're getting, you say you're getting to learn security, yeah, and sometimes these error codes can never be the same. I don't know if there are devs here, people who have done coding. You can copy paste a code exactly as it is in the internet, but for you it doesn't work.
Of
Yeah.
course.
So what does
You
it
would have
do?
asked me.
So it kind of pushes you to try and figure out what's the problem, what can I do. So personally, I think even if I do mentorship on the side for like a number of programs, I do trainings, and some errors like those, I'll just tell the student to just make that a learning process. Research as much as you can. Make sure it's an error that you will pick something new from. Yeah. I hope I said that the right way, unless Francis has a very specific answer. But for me, honestly, to like help you, that's what I would say.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. One
Just
last
to add,
question: Can AI be used in cybersecurity?
Definitely. We even have so many AI tools. I don't want to digress, Anna, but I think I'll just talk a bit. I think when you watch movies, yeah, and they have this hacker and they have many screens. What I mentioned about defenders, yeah. So we have things called security operation centers. Yeah, this is where there are many screens. You're trying to do monitoring. So what AI does, it helps with to avoid it helps with automation, yeah, to avoid repetitive tasks, to avoid the human errors, to sort of reduce human errors. So AI is very, very integral. We have AI tools. We have how AI can be integrated in securing any network or application. We have how AI can be used to break into the same network or application. So technology works. It just depends who has their hands on it. So it can be the good guy, it can be the bad guy, and either of them can use them to their advantage. So this is a whole other field in security. But yes, AI and cybersecurity works perfectly.
All
And it
right.
has its
Right.
also vulnerabilities, well, by the way. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, Nancy, for that. I think it's already 8:57 p.m. We only have 3 minutes. All I just want to say is that it's important for you to actually get to, first of all, at least have some grasp of the main things or the main fundamentals of cybersecurity. And as mentioned earlier by Sasha, it's that the cybersecurity prep course is going to be a good introduction for you. Now, I'd like to give this platform to Francis and Nancy because they were actually my guests to actually just give us some parting shots as we wind up the session. Francis.
thank you very much, Elvis and Sasha, for the platform. And my parting shot is just to tell everyone that cybersecurity is a journey, and it is not a sprint. You start from the beginning, and then you continue adding up skills on top of other skills. Do not be discouraged when you have to learn. Like Carl, don't be discouraged. Continue pushing. I usually tell people that the difference between a senior engineer and a junior engineer is just the amount of errors that the senior engineer has gone through, that such a way that they're able to identify problems by just looking at it. Once you on yourself as a learner, some of these things, they don't come to you naturally, so it is something that you need to learn and adjust yourself. So don't ever stop learning. It's a continuous journey. Look out and ensure that you connect the community. Very important. Networking, and also something else as I'd mentioned, don't forget about your soft skills. Don't forget about your soft skills, are very important as well.
All right, all right. Thank you for that, Francis Asante. Nancy, what is your parting shot?
My parting shot, very simple. Be patient with yourself. No one was born knowing everything. It's a learning journey. You just have to be very intentional about it. And like I said, it's a path that never sort of ends. And it's not only security. I've seen someone ask about data science. I think generally IT, you just have to keep on learning. Be patient with yourself throughout the process, and definitely be open to having mentors. Be open to um, uh, taking part in such sessions, such webinars, such trainings, because and being part of communities as well really helps. Yeah. So I think if we had time, I would have shared my journey so that I'm not one of those people who knew there would be a cybersecurity engineer when I was 6. I think most people tell you, I knew I would do IT ever since I was 5. That was not my story. So it's very much possible. And also you can shift to cybersecurity regardless of what you're doing. If you're in health, if you're in finance, if you're a dev, you can definitely move to security. So I wish you all the best. Feel free to reach out to me via LinkedIn. I would be happy to assist where I can. And thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Nancy. I appreciate. I think we can give our guests a round of applause. Everyone who's actually been part of this particular session, thank you so much. I just want to say that, not even think, I know this has actually been an educative session for anyone who actually wanted to get started in cybersecurity. So without any further ado, I just want to bring the session to a close. Thank you so much for being part of today's session. I hope you learned something. I will try and have another session with Nancy, probably in the course of the month, where we'll talk about, she's going to share her journey, and she's going to take our sacrificial lamb and try and do something that is going to shock him. But over and above, thank you so much for being part of today's session. I look forward to actually seeing you guys getting into cybersecurity itself. It's amazing, it's very good, in as much as we want to get into other aspects of skills development. Nancy, you've raised your hand.
Yes, I just wanted to tell them to make sure they join that next session so they can see how you can send an email from yourself to yourself. It's amazing. So
I'm, look, I'm looking forward to see that.
yeah, so
So,
looking forward.
okay, thank you so much, and thank you guys for being part of today's session. Nashukuru sana. You can have yourselves a good night, and I'm so happy that you've actually been part of this particular session. Thank you so much. Have yourselves a good night. Asante.